Okay, totally out of the blue. I'm gonna start ripping into overkill because I went to the store. I went down to my local hobby shop, pmhobbycraft.ca, if you guys want to check it out, and pick myself up some Robinson racing parts. Hey, gears. This is the idler gear in the transmission that I think is the culprit of why it's stripped out. And I figured I might as well do a quick video. I know people want to see me kind of dig into this so you guys can see how it's built. I'm totally okay with that. I think it's a good idea. Overkill body is not on right now. It's just kind of sitting on top. I had it unscrewed so it's a little bit higher than it should be. Inside, if you guys haven't been checking this out, you can see this is how I hooked up the smoker system. Anybody can get smoker systems. You just got to check on Google for your local, like train store or boating store, that kind of idea. Really kind of easy peasy stuff to find, right? You just have to know what you're looking for or how to ask Google where to get it locally or online. So I'm going to take this problem. This is a problem right here where everything is turning, but the inside, the transmission is not actually turning the drive shaft. I haven't had a look at it yet. I assume it's the idler gear. Enough talking, let's start working. Let's get you in a little bit closer too so you can see what I'm actually doing. All right, everything's set up. We'll start removing the batteries. Might as well, just for safety's sake, get them out of the way. Nothing like having a big bulk of Lipo batteries sitting there while you're trying to work on everything. See how I work these into the straps? There we go. Easy to remove. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. And I'll actually just back off this smoke system. This tubing that's put together, I actually did this. It's aftermarket, right? So you can't buy it. I'm just gonna lift that out. Good. So, people were wondering, because it's a snowplow, and I said I didn't really waterproof everything, about snow and everything getting inside. But this plastic liner that's here, and I actually put one along the bottom as well after I got this truck back. Just put this Gorilla Tape on here, which seals it up nice. My whole goal right now is to remove this center unit. Okay, so we'll just undo this, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of a cutting tool I could use. Boom, 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 boom. And knocking over the light, and then coming back. Nothing like having a camera over your shoulder while you work. But I can say over the years I've become used to that. Okay, so I'll just take off. What I'm doing right now is just cutting the bottom lining away. So here's all the sealed. Gorilla Tape is amazing. Much better than duct tape in my opinion. Ugh, there we go. And there. So here's the bottom piece, right? All done. Now I do have oil in the smoker, so I want to be careful, but I also want to be able to remove this piece right here. So which one am I going to use? Which one? There we go. Look at that. I love first try. What size is this? This is the 5/64. There we go. And out she goes. Fairly quick job. It's fairly also intimidating when you look at it. You're like, oh darn, I got to take out the transmission, crack it open. But with a little bit of practice on these rigs, it's actually really easy to get to the transmissions. 4 bolts on the bottom, a couple of bolts for your drive shafts. And 1 more of these. People have been saying, or requesting rather, that I do more build style videos, where I actually show you working on the truck. But I know for some folks that are here for pure entertainment, it's a little bit hard. But at the same time, this is part of the hobby. And if you're not prepared to work on your truck, then you're certainly not going to have good rigs to film with if you're out filming. Okay, so there we go. Everything is good. We'll just unhook this. Everything is very, even though it looks like a mess with these wires, it's not. Everything is really broken down easily and quite tidy. It's like a bomb technician when you're working on this kind of stuff. You want to be super careful not to cut the wrong wire. And there we go. Release the wires. Okay, battery's good. It's right here. Still working on it. One last snip. And then we'll just pull these out. 1, 2, 3. Kalima! Kalima! For all those that don't know, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, look at that. So, isn't that pretty? Roc 412 brushless 2300 kV Tekin motors with RS Pros on top for ESCs, okay? Let's get rid of these ESCs. These are attached around the Vanquish Products transmission casing. It's an aluminum casing, the red one underneath. Come on. I chose this color to go with the Roc 412 motors here. There we go. We can remove these straps. Oh, I'll have to pull it out this way because of the capacitors. Or even cut it off. Looks kind of sloppy on my side, but I just had to do a little bit of surgery. There we go. To reveal, there we go, the transmission. Isn't that nice? Now let's have a look. I'm trying to turn that and it's quite stiff inside and the gears are quite tight. So look at this Punisher shaft. Try and undo this one. I'm assuming it's a 2 mil. Nope, much larger, but yeah, much larger. Let's see, here we go. Too big. Come on, I thought I was a pro at this. Then you start getting nervous when you're on camera. Oh my god, which one's it gonna be? And of course I don't have any. Come on, is it in the driver already? How embarrassing is that? There we go. Crack that back. It's got a bit of Loctite in there. Good job to my RC mechanic team for ensuring that that was done. And it looks like they used some blue Loctite, which is kind of making it easier for me to remove, which is perfect. Is there 2 in here? One more. This is pretty much a normal transmission removal for an Axial SCX10 and or a Wraith. There we go. We'll back this off. Look at. I'm going to show you something which is really cool on this Vanquish Products transmission. Look how neat this is. It's got a VP right there as a logo. Cool, hey? I like that. I didn't get the pleasure of seeing that as I was putting this. I didn't put this together. It was my young friend David Jr. So that's really nice to see. Just gonna back it off. Here's where we figure out if it was the idler gear or not. Dun dun dun. There's our culprit right here. So I didn't realize that back in the day I must have cheaped out on the original overkill, and either I couldn't buy one because I couldn't find it, or I just forgot altogether. I find that hard to believe, but just sheared the teeth right off. Here, I'm trying to get it in the camera there with some good light. Sheared the plastic teeth right off. And it's because there is hardened aluminum or hardened steel. I don't think these are steel. Are they? Yeah, they are. They are steel. Hardened steel gears just basically chewed that idler off. So, I'm going to go back inside. This is how easy it is. You got to take out those bearings. Make sure to check the bearings if they're any good. After that kind of damage, I don't know. There we are. Feel? Oh yeah, they feel fine. Check these out. Picks like your dentist has. Okay, you got to go in these gears, because if you don't clean these out, you're going to go run your new gear and you're going to find it's very rough. So I know it's out of focus here. There we go. All right, no need to question why I've got greasy gloves. Still cleaning out what's on the inside teeth here, that plastic on the bigger output drive shaft on either side, you can see. Just want to make sure as much of those plastic gears are out of there so I have a smooth operation. And there we go. The other teeth have been cleaned out. This is pretty much old marine grease that's left over. Look at this. I've gone in and re-protected the bearings. I've added a small amount of marine grease on the inside. Not too much because I don't want to pack it full or else it'll cause binding issues. Right? You need to have gears or a room in between the gears for it to work properly. So this is here. Check it out. The 2 hardened steel gears. Here comes the idler gear. would be on this side. It looks like the pin wants to give me a hard time on camera, of course. Here it is. The bearing, the drive shaft, and of course the idler gear itself. Kablamo, look at that. Now that's quite boss. All of that is rock solid. Okay. Everything's all lubed up, ready to be reassembled. That fits together well. Now what I want to do is ensure that everything is moving properly. So on my side I can see the shaft spinning. Perfect. I'm gonna have to wipe that up. Quite greasy. Okay, so here you can see some of the teeth that I was able to pull out that were just full teeth off of the gear. I wanted to show those to you because you can imagine inside here when the shaft is spinning and those teeth are getting stuck inside the gears. You can see everything's moving nice and smooth. That's exactly what you want. Everything on the inside is firmed up and moving properly. Just going to double check this here. See that? No binding at all. Ah, the magic of TV. Isn't that the beauty right there? All done except for this one. Just quickly turn that in there with the biggest channel locks there are. There we go. Problem solved. Now, moving on. Almost completely done. Everything is still turning on the inside, nice and smooth. I can see. The only thing I have to do is reassemble the whole spur gear. Now, I was at PM Hobbycraft where I got the idler gear, and check this out. Look at this. Ah, says axial wraith 80 turn, but this is going to be able to go on my heavy duty overkill for sure. Now, I have opened one of these up already. Have you ever seen a steel slipper? This is a Gen 3 slipper unit 48 pitch. That's the angle of the gear in there. So it's an 80 tooth. Now, this one here, I believe, is a 78 tooth I ended up buying back in the day. Or is it an 80? This is the original spur gear with the slipper on there. This one is steel. Everything is built right in, including a bearing. There we go. Looking good. All lined up. What is that noise? Is it slipping? I bet you that's the one right there. Okay, so it's definitely sounding different because it's metal on metal, not metal on plastic. That sounds a little bit tight, hey? Let's back that off just a little bit. Let's see, a little bit of grease. I never want to put too much grease on things like this simply because of dirt. That's better. Much better. I like the sound of that. Okay, wipe off my hands quickly here. Now, on goes the stock washer. Kabloom. Then goes on the spring. And of course, the front nut that will tighten that up. Grab out the special grabbers again. Well, I guess with these, I'll actually use the channel locks because it's a little bit tighter. And that, my friends, I'm going to take this, screw the spring in all the way till it's tight, not too tight, just hand tight. Then I'm going to back it off 3/4 of a turn so it still has a little bit of give in there. I'm still going to fiddle around with this a little bit, maybe give it a little bit more grease. Looks like I need to tighten this up too a little bit. Get that pinion down there properly, but there, yeah, I don't know, man, I don't know. The perfectionist in me wants to find out what it is. Oh, look at. So again, it was just a little, you know, it's a little, there's a perfect sweet spot in there I have to fiddle with. All right, a little bit more fiddling around. I was placing these motors back in the right spot, kind of giving it the proper gap in between the spur gear and pinion, and listen to this. Perfect. For me, that's nice. Very little marine grease on here because I don't want it to attract a lot of dirt, but properly lubricated. Ha ha ha. Here is the transmission, everything steel in there, and this is basically bulletproof, as strong as I can get this transmission. But for me, because this is heavy duty overkill, the Juggernaut, I have 2 transmissions, which means I have another one to go still. My friends, if you're questioning how much these are, you can get them in multiple sizes. I grabbed a few more from my other trucks. This is an 88 tooth, probably around 40 bucks if you order it online or from your local store. I'm not going to make you watch me put this other one into my other transmission, and if you were begging because you wanted me to, just play this video again. It's basically going to look the same. So my friends, thank you so much for tuning in today. Hopefully, if you wanted or needed some inspiration on how to do a dual motor setup and you were kind of a little concerned about how to do it, this is totally overkill. You don't need multiple ESCs, but for HD overkill, of course, I'm going to put in 4, 5, 6 ESCs. Thanks a lot, guys. I will see you in the next RC adventure, and if you liked what you saw, make sure to subscribe. See you later.